It's a trap, you walk right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is steps, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show, or for hyper control.
I've had a fucking enough of this shit, boy.
And we're back with the episodes of Bud and Tubs. We're here with you on this Tuesday to give you all the things you want to hear.
Hi, welcome back.
Like every week, we come back. You know, we're like a non-negligent father.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying. But anyways, we got a good episode for you today. I think a great topic. I liked actually looking into this more and finding out all the nitty-gritty details of it.
It's pretty neat that we've been using this guy's speech in our outro for however long it's been since Blooded the Brave, the guy that does our music, gave us his new album.
Yeah.
BloodedTheBrave.com, Blood of the Brave on Bandcamp, Blood of the Brave on YouTube and Instagram.
Check him out.
Yeah. So what you got over there in the hot news?
Nothing really. Well, I mean, nothing we didn't know already. I mean, we knew that you could attempt to buy elections, or at least attempt to buy your way into the election.
Yeah.
Michael Bloomberg will be debating with the rest of the Democrats.
Maybe he can talk about his racist stop and frisk policy.
Well, not just racist. Let's go a step further here. It's
classist?
Unconstitutional, classist.
Oh, yeah.
However you want to put it.
Well, I mean, didn't he say putting it in areas of the city where more colored people live?
Yeah.
People of color, however he phrased it.
Well, it's like...
because 1355.
I saw a funny a meme about this, actually. It's that one where the woman in the first frame is like this, and then the second frame is like, maybe, like that. And it says, vote. The first one says, vote for a billionaire who's misogynistic, racist, and has questionable business dealings. And then, of course, she's like this. And, of course, they're talking about Trump. That's it. Well, it's in 2016. 2016,
yeah.
right?
Okay, yeah.
And then the next one was 2020. And, of course, they're referencing Michael Bloomberg in that. So that speaks for itself at this point.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, honestly, though, what I would like to see is if it was Bloomberg was the nominee, instead of actual debates, I want to see him and Donald Trump fight each other to the death.
Yeah.
Gladiator
both
style.
Die?
Well,
Is that an option?
It depends. I mean, if you're the, I think we talked about one day, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, the orator or the narrator of the gladiatorial games gets to decide whether yeah. So I think that would be, in this day and age, in this timeline, I think it would be more apropos for them to fight to the death.
Yeah.
For the presidency.
Huh. No, I totally agree. I think they should even take that down to the state level.
Yeah.
And even probably like local municipality level.
I mean, it would get rid of the guys that, like, these individuals that do win offices aren't bloodthirsty cunts.
Yeah. It is known.
But
one thing about that too that I like, it was interesting. I saw a news story earlier in the week with Biden giving out his little fucking opinion that nobody gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
He said he referenced Bloomberg, whose net worth is somewhere near $69 billion.
69.
I mean, it was just shy of 70, right?
Yeah.
And Biden said, $60 billion can buy you a lot of campaign ads, but it can't erase your record. And I said, you're a pedophile. Yeah. A pedophile attacking another pedophile. Allegedly, because we all know about Joe Biden.
Well,
the cockroach speech. And then we know about Bloomberg hanging out with Epstein. Just like all the others.
Yeah, I mean, we know things about Mike Bloomberg already. It's no.
Didn't you say he had to settle a lot of court cases with Whammon?
Probably, they all do.
Whammon? I thought we talked about that.
Listen, man. I've come to conclusions that all these fuckers are just like.
Oh wait,
imagine
Sorry, he's standing with a baby. I'm going to vote for that guy.
With a black baby at that.
Oh my God, it's a black baby?
Yeah.
I like him already.
But the thing is, like, I've come to the conclusion, like, think of the creepiest dude you know, especially, like, when it comes to, like, dealing with women, right? Don't say it out loud.
Okay.
Because we're probably in the same
Yeah,
realm.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Okay. Now, imagine, if you will, that person, like, that mentality multiplied by the thousands, and those are the people that run us.
Yeah.
I'm not even, like, it's not even an exaggeration at this point. Challenge me to that conclusion.
Change my mind.
Yeah, change my mind that we are not ruled by creeps. Absolute fucking creeps. Every single one of them. And not just ruled by them, they're the biggest money-making cocksucker... money-making people on the planet.
Why can't you say cocksucker?
No, but here's the thing. Because that denotes that being a cocksucker in that sense is necessarily a bad thing. These people, okay, if they suck cock, they suck they suck Shrek's cock. You know what I mean? Like,
stay out of my swamp.
They suck, they perform acts of bestiality. They suck fucking...
ogre dick.
Yeah, ogre dick. Or fucking...
edit ogre.
Donkey penises, you know?
It's not legal.
Well, they do it anyways.
They don't care about the law.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my conclusion. You want to know? People ask me, "What'd you think about the debate last night?"
I didn't watch it.
Well, they're all a bunch of pedophiles and power-hungry creeps.
Yep.
Who lie.
Yep. I know that's right.
And will back away from the truth as quickly as a cockroach to light. So that's what you get from me when it comes to these politicians.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that we didn't change our opinions on how much we hate politicians.
Yeah.
I also would like to see Harvey Weinstein's penis.
Yeah, we all want to see Harvey Weinstein's penis.
I don't know if you guys knew this out there in podcast land, but we were reading some articles about how some of these witnesses are referring to his penis or lack of penis.
Yeah, he has deformed genitals.
Sort of like an innie, right? Instead of an outie.
To quote Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
Show me the money.
Because now, like, wouldn't it either damn him or exonerate him if we got to see said genitalia?
Dave Chappelle had the same thing about Michael Jackson.
Did he?
He's like, we could get this settled right now. I want all the victims to describe his penis. And then I want him to show everyone his penis.
Yeah.
He's like, if somebody comes in and they're like, it's kind of small, and it had glitter on it, we know it's his penis.
Yeah. It's like that one guy we know, if he was some sort of creep and they were like, he has a tattoo on it.
Oh. Shout out Reverend Do Nasty on Instagram. You want to see my old face, baby boy?
But other than that, I mean, there's still talk of the coronavirus going on and stuff like that.
I've been seeing some strange things, man. I don't know if we've talked about it, but I was explaining to somebody the other day about, I wonder if the Chinese ghost cities have anything to do with this.
You mentioned that,
if they have a part to play. So he didn't know what that was about. So I showed him a documentary on the Chinese ghost cities. They've literally built up these cities that are just thriving, huge cities. Could be thriving, except for the fact that they're empty.
Well, is it one of those things where they like show footage of these empty cities and they're like, look, see, everybody's holed up in their homes waiting for this to blow over.
Well,
when like in reality, if they actually looked at Wuhan, like there's fucking mass hysteria in the streets. There's fucking carts of dead bodies, and they're like, bring out your dead style shit.
I think that might be it, because as we're watching this documentary that was made in, I want to say 2016 or 2018, some of the footage that they're using to show how empty the city streets are in different parts of China are actually from that documentary. So they used old stock drone footage from the ghost cities to describe the current situation in China, when it's actually probably fucking samurai swords and bedlam.
Yeah, craziness. There's shurikens just flying everywhere.
Hayouken.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
There's dudes just climbing buildings.
Azun kick.
Yeah,
Hayouken.
Shooting arrows everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a regular Overwatch over there.
I ain't trying to feel that shit.
There's a gorilla with a Tesla cannon.
What's strange to me also, some of the footage they're showing of these Americans coming back on a plane, like the stewardesses are wearing biohazard outfits. It's almost like, and they're using megaphones to talk. So I can't put my finger inside it. If whether or not it's fear porn, and they want us to be afraid of something that was only a short-term kill weapon, or if it's actually real deal pandemic. I think they're calling it a pandemic now.
Huh.
Supposedly, I haven't watched the video yet.
I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted by this picture on Drudge of a woman brings her mini service horse onto plane. What do you need?
I don't fucking care.
Okay, like, listen.
Go get a job, Brenda.
The question is, do people who have service animals, do they have to pay for a seat for their animal? Or does the animal ride free because they're a service animal?
That sounds incredibly racist.
But the thing is like, what does the horse do?
It just comforts her to let her know that it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be oh hey.
Well, then in that case, I want to get a little vest for one of my son's guinea pigs and carry that around with me. Because it could be like my proverbial spider sense.
Yeah.
You know, like it's eating. Yeah. Like, oh shit, something's about to happen.
It's time to go.
Or it's time to eat. I don't.
Either way, we should think about it over some Timothy Hay.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to pet, what we talked about before, a Komodo dragon. Like
you want to service Komodo dragon?
He keeps me, every time he bites me, I've worked up an immunity to the Komodo dragon saliva poison.
That or you would look like you were suffering from AIDS. I mean, and have multiple missing limbs. Like, I love him so much. And he just like...
Or a pet scorpion that stings me from time to time. Oh, yeah, give Daddy the juice. Give Daddy what he needs.
Shout out C-Lab 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show.
We should get on to the topic before somebody starts complaining in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Marvin Heemeyer. Is it Heemeyer?
I would pronounce it Hero.
Yeah, Marvin Hero. I mean,
Marvin Hero. Actually, that's great. That's really great. The article I had pulled up is now gone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fuck my life.
Do you want me to try to create a hotspot for you?
Can I use your phone? Would that be okay?
Yeah. Me.
American hero.
There you go.
Thanks. I'm going to find this article by going straight to DuckDuckGo.
If I have anything strange pulled up.
I'm not mad at you, man. I understand. Looking at the 2020 Guinea Pig Olympics.
I'm really excited about the Timothy Hay eating competition this year.
I'm not going to say this on the show, but I'll make reference to it because I can't stop laughing on the inside. I thought for about an hour and a half how I could work that fucking story that you crafted into a dream.
What story?
The one about the one that we're trying to catch. And getting him like when he's 55. Doing things. It was me the whole time.
Freeze!
Oh, man. I couldn't do it, though. I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, you just go to
pants back up.
You just go to duckduckgo.com, type in Killdozer, all one word, hit that go button, and it's the second link. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. Wrath of the Killdozer, daminteresting.com.
So, yes, if you didn't realize it already, we're talking Marvin John Heemeyer. Hero. Was an individual who so like you could get on YouTube, we'll probably post a link for it, where it's just his audio tapes, right?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's almost 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Did he record that all at one time?
No, it was over a span of time. Okay. Because if you like listen through it like you kind of like, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We do that sometimes.
It's called the Tarantino method.
Okay, so
minus the child fucking.
You could look up these audio tapes and kind of get a glean into this dude's brain, right? It's kind of the same thing where you look at like
it's an audio diary.
Yeah, except it's like I put it. It's not as. Here's the thing: like you read like Ted Kaczynski, and you're like, this guy makes a lot of good points, but he was crazy as fuck. This guy, on the other hand, was like listening to my papaw tell stories.
Sounded like your papaw, who had literally tried every single fucking legitimate avenue. He was getting fucked.
Okay, so this dude, right? Let's start at the beginning, right? He was a single man, never had a family or anything, right?
Right.
He was an entrepreneur, like in a smaller sense. He was a businessman, right? He bought property. He owned mechanic shops. He did everything above the board. He didn't do anything illegal.
No.
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, laws.
Yeah. So he lived in Colorado most of his life. and he bought a property in Granby.
Yeah.
Okay,
Granby.
so he moved to Granby when he was older. I mean, he was already in his late 40s when he moved to Granby. Well, no, he was in his 40s when he moved to Granby.
Right.
And he bought a property at auction that he was initially buying for a friend of his to open up a muffler shop, right? Mm-hmm. And he outbid this other dude.
He had gone in with the expectation of spending $66,000.
Yeah, and only spent 50, I think.
Right, and he outbid the last person. I think they only went up to 45.
Yeah.
So really, it could all be stopped here if that guy that only wanted to pay 45 paid a little more money.
Exactly. But that guy, in and of itself, he was buying with someone else's money too, right?
Right.
So he buys this property. Well, the guy that he was buying it for ended up backing out because there was like some EPA regulation issues about cleanup because there was like oil spilled or something like that, and you got to like get that shit cleaned up or whatever, right?
For nature.
So he, this dude, and like I said, it's like talking to your papaw because this dude's like, well, he's like, he didn't want the property, so and he even says it somewhere in there. He's like, when you got lemons, you make lemonade. He's like, so I opened up a muffler shop.
Right.
And,
trying to provide a service to the community.
Yeah. And he tried to like fit into the community too, right? He tried to like, he would patronize local business and he tried to be a member of this community. And, the guy that he had outbid always kind of I guess right after he won, like he talks about right after he won the bid, that guy came up to him and like cussed him for like 20 minutes straight. And he talks about how much and this guy's name is, Cody something. I'll look it up here in a minute. And now I gotta look it up.
Marvin Heemeyer basically unknowingly stepped inside of an insider deal.
Yeah. Not knowing it, right?
He just wanted to open a business.
It was a big, like you said, an insider deal that he wasn't aware of.
Right.
And they now used all of their authority over the course of 12 years?
Yeah, I mean, they drew it out big as fuck.
Okay, so he buys this property. He opens up a muffler shop. He decides he's going to build on the property and invest in the property to make it worth more money. He gets the cleanups done with the EPA.
He took it from something like 60, what he got for $55,000 property with all the problems, and ended up swapping it into a property worth like almost $400,000.
Yeah. So because he built on it. He built a storage shed for boats. He cleaned it up, built it up, took it from a property that he bought for $55,000, and
excellent.
He had multiple appraisals. Right. The first appraisal he did was at $275,000. Right, yeah. $275,000. He tried to sell to this dude that was all salty at him at $260,000.
He tried selling it the very first day when they had their argument.
Yeah,
in the auction.
Well, and he told him, he's like, "Listen, I'll sell it to you, but you're gonna have to pay a little bit more money for it."
He's like, "I came here prepared to spend $66,000. I want you to pay me $66,000. You can walk away with it."
And he's like, you listen to the audio tapes, and he's like, everybody else that went in there that day got what they wanted because they came with the right amount of money to buy what they wanted.
You can't be mad at somebody for not having enough money. You thought you had a slick deal with your dude who owned an adjoining property. You were going to make they were going to make a concrete factory.
Yeah.
And he fucked that up simply by showing up with a different idea.
Yeah. And he was an outsider. Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect example of like this kind of, and you know what? We live in an area of the country where this isn't a far-fetched thing to happen.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
You get a bunch of friends and family members together on various boards, town councils and fucking.
Coming from me, who, the first part of my impressionable years were spent living in a different part of the country, and then moving here, and you have a lot of old families and bloodlines and political alliances and shit, and you think like, oh, this is small potato, but like it's true. Like that's why like all the stuff he talks about, it's not far fetched, and they even try to like diminish his story like now because, well, that's the thing though, they're all part of like this group, so of course they're gonna say, oh well, he was being unreasonable and da 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 da.
Like the fuck he was. He tried selling it the day he bought it just to clear the water with this dude. You know what I mean? So he even said, if I could have sold it, I wasn't, he wasn't trying to be an asshole. He came willing to sell it for what he was willing to buy it for originally, so he could make a little bit of profit and then put that money into another part of the community and buy another, like do the same thing somewhere else. And they were just completely unreasonable.
So he buys this place. He flourishes for a few years, right? He builds on the property. He invests in it. He makes it bigger. Like I said, this guy, like, it was eerie how much this guy reminded me, I know farmers, right?
Right.
And I know people who are like private businessmen. Like, we're not talking about big billionaires or anything like that. We're talking about people who, made a
business.
I think of my grandma, right? Because it kind of reminded me of my grandma a little bit. Because like when you're into that kind of stuff, you got to be able to make your own deals, and you got to be a self-starter. Like you got to,
right.
And that's exactly what this guy embodied for me, was like somebody who just like, he knew what he was doing.
He was a good dude too.
Yeah. Everybody like that knew him, his brother, his extended family, even people he knew a couple people he knew in town said, like, this dude would give the shirt off his back for you. Like, he was a great dude. And so, he has a couple prosperous years. Well, then a couple years down the road, they start trying to build just downwind of him, mind you. And mind you, this isn't outside the city. This is like inside the city of Grandy. This guy who he had problems with before decides he's going to build a concrete manufacturing plant, right? Where they make concrete. And I don't know if they already
had a concrete plant north of town.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is like, so he was having problems with the property because there was an abatement on, a basement on the sewage lines.
Right.
He needed sewage lines put in, but the guy that was going to lend that Cody dude money had would have had to give him permission.
Had the air quotes authority
to say like he had to get his permission or pay to get sewage lines put in, and the guy told him pound sand.
Yeah, you're not getting shit. They wouldn't give him water or sanitation.
And he told him, he's like, I mean, he was more than willing to pay for it too. That's the thing.
Right.
Like he was like, he wanted water and sewage put in.
First of all, they had to do it legally, but they didn't. He was then willing to go a step further to try and be more reasonable, keep going with his good character to pay for it himself.
Yeah.
And they said, fuck you.
Okay, so they decided to build this concrete plant, right? Now, he has problems with this because, one, the act of actually building this place was going to interfere with his ability to actually have business, right?
It was going to block all the traffic.
And two, I don't know if a lot of you out there have ever seen what concrete manufacturing looks like or what it does to the surrounding areas, but considering he was downwind of it, it would have been fucking terrible.
Oh, bad.
It would have lowered his property values. It would have lowered the property values of everything around it. It didn't make sense to put a concrete plant in the middle of town.
Think about it, too. He even mentioned the concrete plant that they had north of town. And I want to say all the same players were involved with that concrete plant. Mm-hmm. They might have been moving it to a bigger location downwind of him, but all the people in that area were pissed.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they just came in and did it.
Yeah.
On some eminent domain shit, like a Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had all this, like, concrete dust just everywhere all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was a bad smell. And
yeah. Made terrible living.
Yeah. So, okay, but when they're starting to put this together, he starts trying to stop it, right? He offers to buy the property. You know, he offers to do all these things to keep this manufacturing plant from being built, right?
Right.
He goes to town meetings. He talks about how it's gonna lower property values, that it's a bad idea,
Right.
And it just goes on deaf ears time and time again.
Because everybody involved in this shit at some level had some say in the same goddamn thing. Mm-hmm. They're all involved. What do they call that? Conspiracy?
Yeah.
If you will.
So he goes through all these processes. He tries every legal means to try to stop this from being built, right? Or to try to compromise and figure out some way that they can make this work out that doesn't involve him losing business and devaluing his property.
Right.
And he just gets stopped at every impasse.
Right. They were pissed at him still.
Yeah. So then he attempts to file a lawsuit and it fails. And that's when things kind of got a little ugly because they were openly mocking him about his failure with his lawsuit and all the other stuff that came with it.
Yeah.
And then, because he didn't have sewage lines or anything like that, he had to go dump his sewage somewhere else. So then somebody caught wind of that and then they fined him, like over almost $3,000.
Just trying to fuck his brains out in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and that's the thing. After he filed the lawsuit, it just became a big vendetta to fuck this dude over as much as possible. And the thing is when you have people in power and the town council and all that other shit, there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. So that leads us to why we're talking about this dude.
Yeah,
because you've taken and you even listen to the audio tapes. This guy sounds like a sane individual.
Right.
He, after all avenues had been exhausted, he was sitting in his hot tub.
Crying.
Yeah. Like,
weeping.
Not even knowing what the fuck he was going to do. They were ruining his life.
He said that they had made him spend what he thought was $300,000 aside from all the money he'd put into this shit. So an extra $300,000 he'd spent in legal battles and what have you. But his bookkeeper had told him it was closer to $500,000 that he'd basically wasted. Mm-hmm. So he was in a state of like probably bankruptcy and financial ruin. He's at the point probably thinking about killing himself.
Yeah. So, and he was a God-fearing man, and he understood that God had a will, right? That was his theory, right?
Yeah.
So he's sitting in his hot tub, just broken. They have absolutely broken him. He has tried every avenue, and that's when
a peace came over him. That's only ever came over him a few times in his life, as he put it.
Yeah.
In his tapes.
And he realizes that there is no other choice and that he needs to teach these people a lesson.
Not even just them, but people in the future.
Yes. He was hoping that multiple generations would remember this. And let me tell you something. I will carry this torch to the end of my days. He is in the pantheon as far as I'm concerned.
Hero, yeah.
Marvin Heemeyer will forever and always be considered a hero in my eyes.
Now, can I pick up before we talk about what happened and go through this news story, and then we'll talk about it after we find out the totality of the events?
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like it's best done in an illustrated way of a person and independent media has already written about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and read the story from daminteresting.com. The Wrath of the Killdozer. Marvin Heemeyer of Granby, Colorado was a profoundly frustrated muffler repairman. In 2004, he took drastic measures. Written by Jason Bellows, 29 July 09. Marvin Heemeyer of Granby, Colorado was a profoundly frustrated muffler repairman. In the late 1990s, after years of protests, petitions, and town meetings, it became obvious to the 52-year-old man that he was entwined in a gross miscarriage of justice. His business was ruined by some shady zoning changes, and Heemeyer contended that the mayor and the city council were corrupt. Even as he was forced to give up his legal fight and sell his land, he hatched one last plan to secretly retool his muffler shop and serve a single malevolent purpose. I'm not going to go with any of this leaning.
Yeah.
But we are just going to go through the story, and then we'll break it down afterwards. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Because I don't believe it to be malevolent.
No.
To construct a machine that would allow him to exact his revenge upon those who had wronged him. Heemeyer first became enamored with the state of Colorado when he was stationed there in the Air Force. After his service ended, he moved to Grand Lake, Colorado, and opened a small chain of muffler shops in the surrounding cities. After a while, he began to lease some of the shops out to other operators who also fucked him. A lot of his tenants were assholes.
Yeah.
But kept one, Mountain View Muffler in Granby, to operate himself in his retirement. Heemeyer became involved with politics almost immediately upon establishing his home in Colorado. He was generally well-liked among his friends and neighbors and became described as an enjoyable person, someone who would bend over backwards for anyone. There were, however, some who were more familiar with his volatile temperament. He was a strong proponent of legalizing gambling.
So that made him volatile?
Yeah, this is bullshit.
I don't like this article.
I know. It's better than the other one I had.
Yeah.
And he published at least 2 newsletters to disseminate his views. One thing I'll say real quick that I didn't like about him was, like, every time he talked about somebody, like, you're willing to go forth trying to legalize gambling in an area where it's illegal, but yet he talks shit about people who smoke pot.
Well, okay, here's what I'll say to that. And I'll give him a pass because it's a generational thing.
I see. Boomer problems.
Yeah, boomer problems.
Okay, I get it. Back to the article. He was a strong proponent of legalizing gambling, and he published at least 2 newsletters to disseminate his views. When a reporter for a local paper interviewed Heemeyer for an editorial opposed to gambling, He reported that Heemeyer was so enraged by the opposition that the interview nearly came to fisticuffs. Love that word.
Yeah.
In one particular extreme instance, Heemeyer threatened to kill a customer's husband when she refused to pay for faulty muffler repair. I don't know if I believe that. If Marv was your friend, he was your best friend, said one of the Heemeyer's close associates. But if he decided that he was your enemy, he was your worst and most dangerous enemy. As you should be.
Yeah. I don't see why
Don't just be a bitch.
Yeah.
In the late 1990s, the Dochev family approached Heemeyer to buy his one remaining muffler shop in order to build a concrete batch plant on the land. It was a matter of public record that Heemeyer had bought the property for $42,000, not $45,000. Dochev reported that they agreed to buy the land for $250,000, but fell on deaf ears when Heemeyer raised the price because, and they don't put this in here, but because he had it reappraised to $375,000.
After he had made repairs to the property and,
Fixed
and
it.
had raised the appraisal value of it.
Cleaned up the EPA issues.
Makes fucking sense. That's what you would do. Like,
As a capitalist, you put money into something.
wow. Imagine my shock. Yeah, you've
Oh my
invested in
God.
something and
Capitalism.
now you want more money for it?
Oh,
you
Jesus.
capitalist swine.
It'd be different if he just bought the piece of shit property, didn't do shit to it, and was like, I bought it for $42,000, I need $375,000.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that.
He took care of the, $20-something thousand in EPA regulation shit that had to be
Took
done.
care of everything. He was a great steward of that property.
Yeah.
And reportedly even mentioned $1 million. Okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Having grown weary of Heemeyer's indecisiveness, the Dochefs went to Granby City Council and sought a rezone of the land surrounding Heemeyer's muffler shop. Heemeyer was involved in the rezoning process from the outset, attending town meetings to ensure that his interests were protected. Nevertheless, in 2001, the town zoning commission, who were all corrupt, and trustees, all corrupt, approved the rezoning request. Adding apparent insult to injury, the plan for the concrete plant cut off the only route to his muffler shop. The city was fined. The city also fined Heemeyer $2,500 for junk cars on his property and for failing to have his shop hooked up to a sewer line, even though they didn't give him fucking access.
Even though he tried to get access to the sewer line.
Tried to pay for it himself.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Hindered but not yet defeated, Heemeyer set out to remedy the situation using community action, legal maneuvering, and elbow grease. Okay. He appealed to the zoning commission's decision and gathered signatures from townsfolk to petition against the plant. He attempted to obtain permission to install a sewer line under the 8 feet of land owned by Mountain Park Concrete. But the new owners refused, because they're assholes. Even went so far as to buy a bulldozer to build a new road that would allow customers access to his muffler shop. The city council declined to approve his plan.
A Komatsu D35-5A, by the way.
It's very important later.
Yeah.
It's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Shout out Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Not to delete that. Many suspected there were some shady dealings between the concrete plant and the members of the city council, because there were, and no actual evidence of such illegal goings-on had ever been found because they all deleted the shit. And they're assholes. Having no recourse, Heemeyer sent the city a $2,500 check to cover his fines with the word cowards written ominously on the memo line. He then sold the muffler shop property to a trash company and was given 6 months to vacate. Heemeyer set to work on a new project almost immediately. I'm imagining this is where it picks up past the where we left off with the hot tub breakdown.
Yeah.
So anyway, we picked up from the hot tub breakdown where he received inner peace from higher power. Heemeyer set to work on his new project almost immediately. The Komatsu D33-5A bulldozer that was meant to save his business was instead moved into a muffler bay, and Heemeyer began to work on some modifications. He started by adding homemade composite armor, cement sandwiched between thick sheets of steel to protect the cab, engine, and parts of the tracks. He installed front and rear cameras to feed images to monitors inside the cab, and several gun ports were set around the control center. A stockpile of food and water was stored inside, as well as an air tank to help provide air circulation. Throughout the 1.5 years of construction, Heemeyer documented his progress through notes and audio tapes. Because of your anger, because of your malice, because of your hate, you would not work with me, he stated in tape recordings. I'm going to sacrifice my life, my miserable future that you gave me, to show you that you did this. What you did is wrong. He received several visitors at his shop while working on his armored vehicle for vengeance or justice, whatever.
Yeah.
Just words. and none of them seemed alarmed by the weaponized armor shell atop his earth mover, because none of them were cowards. In his notes, Heemeyer credited a higher power with clouding their vision. On one occasion, he wrote, I was always willing to be a reasonable man until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things. Preach.
Yeah.
2004 was a tough year for Heemeyer. His father passed away in March, and he broke off his engagement when he caught his betrothed with another man. The morning on Friday, the 4th of June, was a gray and drizzly day. Heemeyer mailed his audio tapes to his brother, went to his shop, and climbed into the I'm going to say killdozer, with a handwritten list of targets.
He called it himself. His version, what he called it, was the MK tank.
I like it.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
And he's like a fucking Batman for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
He used the winch controls to lower the concrete and steel shell on top of his vehicle. Nothing short of a crane would be able to lift the 30-ton armor shell. Man, that dude's a beast.
Yeah.
Shell off the vehicle once it was in place. With that fateful metal clap, Heemeyer was sealed in a concrete and steel box that he could never escape. Just after 3 p.m., the makeshift tank tore through the side of the shed, smashed, because fuck a door, you know?
I think it got too big for the door at that point.
Yeah, he probably tried the door and was like, it's time.
Yeah.
They can't stop this. The Mountain Park concrete plant. Shortly thereafter, the phones at the 911 response center began ringing incessantly. A man named Cody Dochev witnessed...
That's the douchebag that tried to buy the property initially.
Cody Douchebag, the destruction in progress, and attempted to use a front-end loader to intercept the rampaging bulldozer, but withdrew when he was fired upon from a gun. No. Within minutes, 2 buildings and multiple vehicles were eviscerated. That's a great word, too. Mm-hmm. And the killdozer rumbled towards the highway into town because he had more business. The slow-moving bulldozer picked up a parade of emergency vehicle escorts as it approached the city limits. One police SUV was crushed when it strayed too near the killdozer. Undersheriff Glenn Trainer managed to climb atop the moving bulldozer using 37 rounds from his service pistol and try to shoot his way in. Oh, stupid.
Yeah.
I think the thing that drove me, he later reported, is that I knew that killing him behind the wheel was the only way we were going to get him to stop this thing. When Heemeyer and his killdozer arrived in town, the Granby police were waiting for him. Against the armored behemoth, however, the laymen were powerless. When it became clear that the armor was impervious to bullets, the police tried explosives, but they were without effect as well. Laymen kept to the sides and tried to vacate anyone in the killdozer's path, and the local police utilized a reverse 911 system to call residents and warn them of the approaching danger.
Imagine getting that phone call.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't going after residents. He had lists.
Yeah.
People that deserved it. News helicopters filmed the unfolding violence from above. The over-encumbered vehicle was obviously difficult to control and swerved wildly through the streets, but Heemeyer was still able to seek out and hit his specific targets. The bulldozer effortlessly demolished cars and buildings, including the home of former mayor, Fuck You, the office of a newspaper that had sided against him, and an editorial. The businesses of former city councilmen, Fuck You as well, in the city hall. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Despite the destruction of the property, no people had been injured or killed. The Granby police requisitioned an industrial scraper to pit heavy equipment against the heavy equipment, but the killdozer merely shoved the lighter at this area aside. That's big dick energy if I've ever seen it. In about an hour of mayhem, the bulldozer had demolished 13 structures and was en route to its next, the Gamble's Hardware. The damage from the small arms and the extra weight of the armor were taking its toll on the vehicle, however, and the radiator had sprung a leak. The killdozer was losing horsepower as a fatigue machine crashed through the wall of the hardware store floor beneath the beast broke, and the front end of the bulldozer fell into a shallow basement.
Yeah.
The engine struggled, but it had no power left of the pit.
The engine struggled, but it could not power itself out of the pit. As SWAT teams surrounded the wounded killdozer, one of the members reported hearing a single muffled gunshot from within the cab. The vehicle didn't move again, ending a rampage, and had lasted 2 hours, 7 minutes, and caused about $7 million in damage. Explosives were employed to try to open the tank, but in the end it took 12 hours with an oxyacetylene torch and a crane to crack the armored top. Inside, Heemeyer was found dead, having shot himself with a .357 handgun. He was the lone casualty of the destruction spree. Today, there are a number of groups which idolize Heemeyer and his fight against a corrupt system, celebrating his ingenuity, ambition, and his apparently valiant effort to prevent any casualties. But it is unlikely that Heemeyer himself deserves credit for the lack of serious injuries or death. Many of the buildings he razed were occupied moments before the attack. There was also evidence of shots fired from the tank at multiple locals, including one attempt to detonate a cache of propane tanks and a reported attempt to push a wall down onto a pair of police officers. Once the killdozer's cab was open and Heemeyer was removed, the police inventoried his numerous guns and found his list of targets. In addition to buildings and businesses, the list included names. In order to prevent Rampage and Meyer from collecting killdozer memorabilia, the dozer was dismantled and its parts were scattered among many separate scrapyards. Anyone who has tried and failed to influence an uncaring government cannot help but feel a twinge of admiration for the extreme measures taken by Marvin Heemeyer. But while there is certainly a time and a place for relentless city-crushing machines, the line between legitimate vigilante and crazy muffler man with notions of divine approval is much too fine for any man to distinguish. Okay. So, that article feels a little slanted.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Everybody's got their little slant.
And here's the thing. I will admit, there are parts of his audio, but it's like one of those things, I feel like the whole thing about the divinity and God, and God telling him to do this, I feel like that was a way to juke himself up into it. Yeah. Because, as a man, I don't think he could have done it. He thought, as a man, he couldn't do himself. But if there was, some sort of divine will behind it that it was supposed to be, that's what, juked him into doing it. The quote I keep going back to, is, you mentioned it already, and I love it. I put it here somewhere. Where did I put it?
That's the one you put it in the show?
No, but there's a different one. We're going to put it in the show. Okay. I don't know if it's the same one, but I don't think it is. But even if it is, I'd like to put it in his words. But it was I was willing to be reasonable until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes men must do unreasonable things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reasonable men must do unreasonable things.
Look at all the evidence. Do you really think this guy, and if you listen to him, he doesn't seem crazy. Do you think this guy was being, I don't think he was being crazy. I think this guy was left no options.
He was in the middle of a corrupt system, and he was trying to do everything above the board, and every time he tried that, he got fucked. He got fucked out of his retirement. He got fucked out of his business. He put it best in our outro.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like, why don't we just play it? What do you think?
Okay.
The bad thing about being honest and straightforward and doing that is people know where you stand and they try to take advantage of you. They take advantage of your good nature. They take advantage of the fact that they know that you're a good guy, you are a straight shooter, and that you're not going to retaliate on them when they fuck you. Well, folks, most of the time I believe that's probably true. But God built me to be here to prove to you that what you have been doing for God knows how many years is wrong. You picked on the wrong man.
And that's the thing, when it comes to this dude, I get it.
I feel like he's every honest man is just tired of corruption.
Yeah.
And it directly impacted his entire life.
And you know what? There's something so admirable about it because he got one over on them.
Yeah.
He did something they wanted to be some juggernaut, this unstoppable thing that could to just roll over people, right? They proverbially, right? So you know what he did?
He took it to the physical.
He made a juggernaut that was unfucking stoppable with a mission and a goal in mind, and he fucking did it. Bro, the fuck.
Yeah. Oh. Shout out to you, my dude.
God damn, real American hero right there. Fuck.
Yeah.
God, that shit's awesome, man.
It's just unfortunate. I mean, I guess it is unfortunate in a way how he had to end it, but he at least had control of how it ended.
Listen, that motherfucker was not going to jail.
No, and I'm not mad at him at all.
And the thing is, he wasn't going to jail. He knew how it was going to end. He knew from the get how it was going to end.
Yeah, they made it that way for him.
Yeah.
And he accepted. Challenge accepted.
Just like
Dude.
powerful, to watch the powerful become powerless is something like, oh, it really just gets me fucking.
Yeah. You can go out there and read all these soft ass articles talking about how he's a psychopath and Snopes and all that bullshit from those leftist fucking bleeding cowards. Or you can look at it for what it is. An honest man trying to make an honest living, trying to be an honest person at all times, and then getting fucked so much that there was only one action of recourse.
I would challenge anybody to say that they haven't felt, in a way, like Marvin Heemeyer at least once in their life when it comes to feeling the powerless, hopeless nature that is fighting the man or fighting the government.
On some various scale of acting out your own version of justice.
And realizing that they don't care.
No.
And they will steamroll you, and they will fuck you in every imaginable way that they can.
They use that bullshit system against you because you're the only one that complies with it.
And you that's the thing. You're the only one following the rules.
Yeah.
You're the only one following the rule book, right? They're not following any rule book. They follow their own rules, and you're not allowed to follow their rules. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have to do the rules that they gave to you. And he said, fuck those. Fuck those rules. I've had enough. I tried.
Hopefully he made it out of the cosmic death trap.
That guy, like, man, I tell you what, like, that whole story, like, I want to feel sad that he killed himself, but, like, a man...
That was the ultimate power move
at
that point, because otherwise they're going to parade him as a psychopath.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to put him in a fucking box.
Look at Ted
treat him like
Kaczynski.
shit the entire time.
Yeah, look at Ted Kaczynski. Look
a
where
monster
he's at.
that they created, Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah.
Right. MK Ultra.
Yeah. But another creature that did what he did. Like, I'm not justifying what Ted Kaczynski did, because innocent people did die. But I will say that it is another case of a man feeling powerless against the forces
of the machine.
The evil machine. I'll go ahead and say it.
Right.
And trying his goddamn best to fight back in some way.
Heemeyer
to make a statement.
Heemeyer only left a financial statement too. Not only one of powerlessness for the powerful, but also he only hit them in the pocketbook. He didn't kill anybody. Mm-hmm. Shout out to you.
Yeah, he just...
Real American hero.
Yeah, for real. He didn't hurt anybody. And they could say, oh, well, that's because the police responded.
Shut the fuck up.
But the thing is, like, I think anybody worth their salt would hear that motherfucker rolling down the street and book.
Get the fuck out, yeah.
Yeah, he was interested in one thing, and that was making a statement.
And statement he made.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we did this episode, because I feel like he needed some positive something out there, at least after the bombs drop or the coronavirus kills everyone. We'll still be floating out there in the cloud.
Yeah.
Giving him a tribute.
And I guarantee that all the fucking people that wronged him they got theirs. Or they're going to get theirs.
He even said that. He's like, when you do things that are wrong, you get it in spades. Sometimes you get it in spades.
Yeah.
With a fat ass.
And the thing is, like, I know, like, people who live there can deny all day that he wasn't, like, that the government wasn't corrupt or anything like that. But I laugh at that. We all know what it is.
It's so weird, though. The government's never corrupt.
They're out for their own self-interest. That's how it's always been. They're not looking out for you. Like, they could have been reasonable.
Could have been at any stage. How many years did this go on?
Like 12 years.
Where
man.
he sought remedy.
Yeah.
He didn't seek vengeance.
He bought the property in 92.
Right.
And he went on his last hurrah in the Killdozer in 2004.
Oddly enough, I don't think it should be called the Killdozer because he didn't kill anyone.
MK Tank.
MK Tank?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it.
The whole thing is, I think, like, in the book of, like, great, I don't know what you call it.
The Akashic Record?
Yes. He deserves to be in there.
He is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's on Pornhub until they remove the video.
Well, it will probably be T-minus 3-4 hours after you post it, because that seems like that's their MO these days.
Yeah.
You can only hope in your lifetime that you could do something as noble as what this man did.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, he's not even like, he probably would think we're weird. Well,
yeah, he wouldn't like us.
Yeah, he wouldn't like us. because we're from the get-go fuck authority. He tried to work with him.
Tried to use the system. Various things, too, I'm sure he wouldn't agree with, but, I mean, I'm not mad at him. He might not like me, but I like him.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Good person.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
He used the fucking power of will to create something. I mean, though it was a weapon, absolute tool of destruction. But
he was rooting out corruption.
Yeah. He literally tore down those institutions of corruption.
Yeah. Yeah. I salute you.
Yeah, we salute you.
I salute you.
But yeah, that topic actually came from the doctor.
Dr. Doug Hurdy.
I'm glad that he sent it to us because we probably should have done this guy a long time ago.
We should have. I told Mr. Tubbs here before the episode that I find it strange that I've been putting this thing from Blood of the Brave into the end of, like, the episode, our outro. And I didn't even know that it was this guy. I just thought it was a powerful message. Come to find out, here we are. Mm-hmm. Synchronicity.com. I'm not sure what that is. Don't go there.
But, you know, if you have a topic you want to hear from us, you know, there's ways to make contact with us.
Send us a letter with some blood in it and a topic written in blood.
Yeah.
Or just ink.
Or just an email. With some
I mean, took a turn.
bonesandtubs@gmail.com.
Yeah, you could hit us up on Instagram, which we would much love.
Instagram.com/bonesandtubs.
We're on, not Facebook.
Yeah. Patreon.
Patreon.com/bonesandtubs.
You can start with $1 a month.
If you
join the nation.
If you like what we do here.
The Eternal Order is no longer the nation.
If not, I'm not begging.
Yeah.
Twitter @BonesTubs.
Yeah, there you go. You know, and, you know, if any of you out there have similar stories to Mr. Heemeyer, we'd love to hear them.
Or if you're currently going through your struggle and you want us to shine light on it, hit us up.
Or you want to send us pictures of your own personal killdozer.
We won't tell.
We will not tell.
One thing we've always said from the very beginning, as babies, our first words were #no snitches.
Yeah. So
we're also on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. And Library, LBRY.
Hey, by the way, thank you, Blood of the Brave, for letting us use your music on the show.
Yes, sir. You are ultra woke. We are just following in your footsteps.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And I'm glad we got people hip to the notion, like I saw comments from our last week's episode. We kind of opened people up to this notion that this Somerset Belanoff thing was a big psyop and all that. I'm glad that we helped draw people in that direction.
It's nice to see a bunch of new people following, too, on all the various platforms and talking to them. Like, man, I can't believe you guys actually shot a conspiracy down. Like, that's what we do. We're not here to just ride conspiracy dick. If we find something fucked up, we're going to bring it to your attention.
And that's the thing. Like, I didn't really see any negativity from anybody. No Qers came forward and told us we were fucking, you know, CIA assets or something.
I'll give it time.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
But we'd like to thank you all for listening.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed our show.
We hope you come back for more.
We hope you have a good week, and we hope to see you next time. And between now and then, you guys stay safe.
We love you.
We really do.
The bad thing about being honest is straightforward and doing that is people know where you stand and they try to take advantage of you. They take advantage of your good nature. They take advantage of the fact that they know that you're a good guy, you are a straight shooter, and that you're not going to retaliate on them when they fuck you. Well, folks, most of the time I believe that's probably true. But God built me to be here to prove to you that what you have been doing for God knows how many years is wrong. You picked on the wrong man. I'm not tough.
You hear that?
I'm not that strong.
Yeah. Yeah. They rolled up in all black. Windows half crashed. Scoping out the scene before they attack. Had they on bad guys in most people's eyes. Most trust them with their life cause they got a badge and tie. Gifted a position given to them by a system. That set it all up to put the kids in the prison. This is non-fiction, non-violence, so just listen. They got a mission to imprison your mind and soul. This ain't nothing new, but we survive what we're sold. And don't believe in ourselves, but believe what we're told. And we're all molded by a machine that gets in your dreams. It can get in your gut and kill your self-esteem. And I've been scolded and told who I should be, but I'll never conform. I was born to be free. It's a setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. It's a setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. Giving numbers a birth, yeah, that's a fact. Deny it if you want, but I'll do the math. I face facts and understand how to overstand the plan with my mind intact. And I got more than a plan, I got hope and belief, dreams and faith, and know damn well that's what they want to take. It's a weapon, fear is aggression, and they plant it in our minds to the point we can't find a way out, a way in. And anywhere you go, you'll see how many men over there and everywhere. They're armed and prepared to do whatever it takes. They don't play fair, that's a jump out boys with the plastic toys draped in all black, ready to bring the noise. A setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth. It's a setup, I never let up. From the cradle to the grave, they got you in the cage. It's a setup, so keep your head up, cause they're selling all that doubt with every word at the mouth.